if you have the weaving kit and want to try the weaving, you will need the weaving kit, a scissors, and a pencil. So first I'm going to take this apart, and it's okay to kind of take the yarn apart. These yarns are your color options. There are 2 popsicle sticks, embroidery thread, the cardboard piece, and a needle. You will need all of these things. So first, we're going to work with this stuff a little bit and make sure it doesn't get tangled. So what I'm going to do is wrap it around one of the popsicle sticks so that it doesn't tangle. It tangles very easily and can be very frustrating. So I'm just going to quick wrap this around my popsicle stick. Okay, I managed to do that without getting it tangled, so that's perfect. Next, I'm going to take this popsicle stick and use it as kind of a ruler and draw a straight line across my top of the cardboard and the bottom. Probably about a 1/2 inch or a centimeter, so not very wide, so just kind of a little strip there. This is the weaving loom, which is what you use to weave a weaving on, I suppose. It's the base for the weaving. I'm going to mark some tick marks in these sections, and they have to be equal. So if you have 10 up here, you should have 10 at the bottom. So I'll just kind of start in the middle, do 1, and then I'll put 2 on the sides, and then put them in the middle. That kind of makes me figure out how they can be kind of even. And I kind of want more than that. So maybe I'll actually do a bunch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think 10 is probably a good amount. I'll just have 14, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, with your scissors, you're going to cut these tick marks to the line here. It is easier to use the bottom of your scissors to cut and not the tip of your scissors. So if you start at the bottom and do a cut, it'll be a lot easier. And I'm using kid scissors, so I know that any kind of scissors can work. I'm cutting each of these to the line. Okay, each of these are cut, and you can kind of see on the side I didn't draw, I have all my tick marks. I'll use this as the back so I can have this as the front, and there's no writing on it. You'll be using this string as the warp. The warp is the strings that go up and down. So I'll start by putting the warp in the first tick mark here. And I'm going to leave like a 5-inch tail here because I'll tie it to the last string at the end. So I'll leave some there. And I'm going to go through, pull my string, and then put it through the tick mark on the other side. Wrap it all the way around. Go to the end. Wrap it all the way around. So you'll keep wrapping your string around and around and around through the tick marks. I'll make sure that I'm pulling my string all the way to the end of the tick mark too, so that I don't have any random loose ones. If you didn't get even tick marks, it's okay because you could just kind of leave an extra one. Like if I had an extra one at the end, it's not really a big deal. As long as my end string is on the same side as my starting string so I can tie it together. And I'm just going to do a bow or a double knot. Maybe I'll just do a little bow tie. No, I'll do a double knot. I don't know, I can't decide. So I'll tie these two together. You could also use tape, but I think tying it is good. And I can cut off a little bit of the extra here so I have this lovely tied piece. Now I have my warp that's in the loom. Next is working on the weft, which is the strings that go through your weaving. That is what the yarn is for. So I'll just pick one of these pieces of yarn. I'll go for the red to start. And this popsicle stick will still help you with your weaving. So I'm going to stick the popsicle stick in here, and it'll actually bring up your strings so that you can easily weave through these a little better than if it's just hitting the cardboard. If I stick this into my needle, you could not use a needle, which would be fine, but it's a little easier to use the plastic needle to weave. Okay, that's good. I have just kind of like a little tail here and a whole lot of string. So I'm going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. I'll just start with the down and then up. So over, under, over, under, over, under. That's the easiest pattern. There are other patterns, but we'll just go with the more simple one for now. I'll pull this all the way through and keep a little tail at the end. I also like to use a fork to kind of pull this down if I need it pulled down. You could use your fingers too, or the other popsicle stick, because sometimes it gets a little loose. When you are weaving, make sure you don't pull too tight, and I'll show you what that does on accident. So when I go back, I'm going to go the opposite way. This one's over, so I'll go under, and over, under, over, under. The opposite that you did before. So what I was talking about is that once you get your string all the way through, you don't want to pull, because it'll start pulling your warp string in and in and in and in, and you don't want that. You want it to be straight up and down. So I'm going to make sure this stays pretty loose and that these strings aren't pulled tight together. If that happens, it's not too big a deal. It's just what it'll look like. When you do get to the end of your color, you can just cut it off, leave it there for now, and then continue weaving with another color, and just leave the little tails for now, and you can tuck them in or put them behind at the end. Okay, that is the basics of weaving with this weaving kit.